For those of you who have not seen, JuJu Smith-Schuster dropped what seems like an 11-minute TikTok about being kidnapped, I think, and then it's his mom's involved. At some point, the guy who does all the film reviews, the TikTok film reviews where he's making jokes of players, he pops up and he's making fun of James Bradbury and Jalen Hurts and the Eagles Super Bowl holding call that ended the game. Since then, he's been totally roasted, and we'll get into that. But first, have you seen the TikTok?
Yeah, I didn't watch it all the way through because, like, I don't know exactly how long it is. It feels like it is, like, 11 minutes, like a full
Dude, it's got to be 10 minutes long. Like, did you see the Paris Hilton advertisements for, do you want a 10-minute TikTok? That JuJu was like, yeah, I do. I want actually all 10 minutes of that. It doesn't even correlate. There's no moment in there where you're like, I know what's going on.
Right, like, the transitions don't make sense. Like, I don't know why. Like, he gets kidnapped, and then they go straight to the film session. Like, I don't know how those two events are connected.
Dude, and then his mom's sitting there in, like, a hospital gown at one point in her living room, which doesn't make any sense. He's got an afro going on in this, like an afro wig that doesn't seem to connect. It's a bad TikTok, just for starters. Like, it's not a good TikTok. It's not funny. It's just super stupid, just for lack of a better term. It's a real dumb TikTok. But he put it out there. He's been on a complete roll, I want to say. He is nonstop with bashing the Eagles after the Super Bowl win. And the Eagles they're just not having it. It started with A.J. Brown going at him in the DMs. He slid in his DMs. He tweeted at him, and then he slid in his DMs, and he posted it on Twitter. I don't play them kid games. If you want to see me, I'm with it. You better go to Cabo, enjoy your ring, and stop effing with me. Leave all of your TikTok shit. Then he calls him a very derogatory term. Warranted, right? Just very warranted.
Right. That Valentine's Day, if you remember that Valentine's Day thing that he posted about James Bradbury, it was wrong then. Like we said back at that moment, like, the Eagles were talking a lot of trash back to him, and we're disparaging the refs and talking about how it was a blown call. If they were not gracious in defeat, you could understand why JuJu would want to talk his trash, but the Eagles, as far as I know, have been nothing but they
cordial,
lost with
respectable.
Right, they lost with grace, and that's all you can really do when you lose like that. They haven't done anything to provoke him, and this just kind of came out of left field, especially for a guy James Bradbury who took full responsibility for what he did. He was the first one to say, yeah, that was a hold. I did that. That was a fine call. Like,
yeah, I think that's what pisses me off with this whole situation, and it does. It actually irks me.
Right.
I have defended JuJu's TikToks my entire life. The whole dancing on the sideline or dancing on the logo stuff. I was like, yeah, whatever. It's definitely getting under teams' skin, but you got to do what you got to do. I get it. He wants to have some social media clout. It's cool. This stuff is just, like I said, so unwarranted. James Bradbury was very respectable after that Super Bowl, admitted everything. You have to feel bad for those guys if you have any respect for the game, for how that ended. If you are a respectable player, you are walking away from that and saying, you know what, like, yeah, it was a good call. It should have happened. They had the holding call. I'm happy, whatever. They admitted it. All respect to those guys. That's what you should say. I respect the hell out of James Bradbury. They're a good team. I don't care what was said on the field. I don't care how much smack talk went down. I don't care what was going on. You treat it like you've been there before. And JuJu has not done that. He has just gone completely off the rails. He's let this whole thing get to his head. Honestly, I can't even be happy for him. And it's hard, I think, for a lot of Steelers fans. I was scrolling through Twitter, and I saw so many people that were like, look, I'm glad that he got his ring, whatever, but I'm so happy this guy's out of Pittsburgh, and this is exactly why. And there was a long time when he was in Pittsburgh that I felt, maybe you guys are overreacting. He should be allowed to do this. Now I'm like, thank God that this is not going on, because trying to talk fans down from hating this guy would be impossible at times. And it's just, it's very, like I said, it's unwarranted. Unwarranted is definitely the name. He's a sore winner.
Right. And that's the thing. I cannot, for the life of me, come up with a reason why he would.
No.
Not just, like, doing it once. All right, whatever. Like, that's one thing. But he is kept after James Bradberry for it's almost months now. Like it's almost a full month, and it just doesn't make any sense to me why he would choose to go after this team so aggressively.
Yeah, and it's not like they're rivals or the Eagles and the Chiefs had bad blood or anything bad happened in the Super Bowl. He is the only guy on both sides who is continuing this. Nobody from the Chiefs talked about it one time. Nobody from the Eagles have talked about it since. Everyone has completely left this game. Oh, yeah. Even Patrick Mahomes after the game, said, Jalen Hurts should be a guy that everybody has respect for now. JuJu Smith-Schuster doesn't feel that way. JuJu Smith-Schuster thinks, I won. Screw you guys. I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say. And no, you're not. That's the thing is you have to be respectful as a winner because everybody in this league is good. Everybody in this league fought just as hard as you did to get where you are and the whole nine. And to just come out here and be that guy, I don't know. It's a bad rep for JuJu. It's a really, really bad rep for JuJu.
Right. And one day JuJu's going to be on the other end of this. I can almost guarantee you. And he's not going to like being on the other end of it.
And he hasn't earned anything in the NFL. That's the craziest part is he had a good season, I guess, in Kansas City. It wasn't a bad season, but he's not a top 15 wide receiver in the NFL. He's not a guy that's ever gotten paid. He has one ring behind Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, which means nothing for anybody else except for Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and probably Travis Kelce. You didn't do anything, my man. You did nothing. You went out and won a Super Bowl on the best team in football. Good for you. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. You have no right to be sitting around bragging 4 weeks after this game ended for a guy that obviously feels terrible and admitted it was a holding call. That is the thing. JuJu is making TikToks about how the Eagles are still talking about this in 100 years or whatever, when the Eagles are not talking about it and haven't talked about it and haven't bitched about it one time. It's classic social media clout. JuJu, it's really, really bad. It's a really, really bad look. Let me ask this. I asked it last time. Do you think it's hurting his chances with re-signing with the Kansas City Chiefs? Because if I'm Andy Reid, I'm not looking for that on my team. I'm not even thinking about that on my team anymore.
Right, and like you said, I'm starting to think it does. If it keeps persisting, yeah, it's going to hurt his chances of getting re-signed because it's just a headache that, like you said, the Chiefs don't need it. The Chiefs do not need this kind of headache or whatever. They can. No. There are a lot of guys who could do what JuJu did.
There's a ton of guys who could do JuJu. JuJu is nothing special in the NFL. He's a good player, very replaceable, the most replaceable person on that team, I think. On that offense, at least, that whole wide receiver core probably is. And if you're the Chiefs, and JuJu, I was talking to somebody the other day that I respect very well when it comes to all this stuff, and he said, I think JuJu's going to get the bag. I think JuJu's going to get $15 to $17 million this offseason just because that's where the wide receiver market's going to be. Who's signing him with all this? You've put such a target on your back to be a very middle-of-the-pack wide receiver. And it's just, it gives me very strong Eli Apple vibes.
Yeah.
And nobody likes Eli Apple. And I think people are going to start feeling the same way about JuJu. They're just going to start hitting a point where they're just I don't really like this guy anymore. He's super annoying. And it's all warranted because this is just bad. It's the worst part of JuJu. It actually upsets me. Shouldn't upset me this much. But it just, and I'm not even, I could care less about the Eagles. Outside of the fact that they lost me some money in the Super Bowl, they don't cross my mind ever.
Right.
But Darius Slay, AJ Brown, all sliding in this guy's DMs, telling him to shut up. Yep, I would do the same thing. Right. Don't even blame him. Don't blame him whatsoever.